Hello and welcome, my dear friend. If these words found you, it's because you've been noticing something strange. There are moments when your day stops behaving like it's yours, and you can't explain why. Chosen ones, it's not dramatic. It's real. Like when you're standing at the sink, the water is running, you're half thinking about nothing, and your phone buzzes, and one message quietly rearranges the rest of your week. That's the kind of shift we're talking about. I need you to hear this with clarity. An interruption from God doesn't always look like lightning in the sky. Sometimes it looks like a delayed response, a door that doesn't open when it normally would, a plan you were certain about suddenly feeling wrong in your body, like you can't even force yourself to be excited about it anymore. Have you ever walked into a place you've been 100 times, same street, same lights, same people, and it suddenly feels like you're wearing the wrong outfit for your own life? Like the environment didn't change, but you did. That's one of the first signs, because before your circumstances shift, your fit with your old routine starts failing. Things you used to tolerate start itching. Conversations you used to entertain start draining you faster. Even certain music, certain foods, certain late-night scrolling habits, they don't hit the same. You're not being dramatic, you're being redirected. And that's why lately you keep feeling like God's about to interrupt your timeline. Not to confuse you, because God doesn't play with your life like that, but to prevent you from making the right choice in the wrong season. Picture it this way. Think about a train track switch. From far away, the train looks like it's going straight. Same speed, same direction, same schedule. But one small lever, one quiet shift, changes which city you end up in. The train doesn't need to explode. It just needs a switch. That's how God moves in certain seasons. Not with noise, with a switch. And for many of you, the next 24 hours isn't a guaranteed miracle window. It's a hinge window. A period where small details matter more than usual, where the same day can split into two different futures based on one conversation, one invitation, one decision you almost didn't make. Here's what that can look like in everyday life. It can look like you finally getting the honest information you were missing, the piece that makes everything make sense. The moment you realize you weren't confused, you were missing a detail. It can look like a sudden schedule change that annoys you at first, then saves you from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It can look like someone calling you after months of nothing, right when you were about to close the chapter. Not to give you closure, but to reveal their true intentions, so you stop doubting your instincts. It can look like a surprising yes, but it can also look like a clean no that protects your future self. Because interruptions are not always additions. Sometimes it's removal. God blocks what would have drained you. He stops the thing you were about to normalize. And if you've been the kind of person who tries to force continuity, to keep things stable, to keep everyone comfortable, to keep your life predictable, this is where you feel the friction. My dear friend, you've been trying to hold the timeline together with your hands without even knowing it. But timelines are not held together by effort. They're held together by alignment. One reason these interruptions feel intense is because they don't always arrive with an explanation. They arrive with a sensation. A tight chest when you think about continuing down the same path. A strange calm when you think about walking away. A sudden burst of energy at an odd time, like your spirit is awake before your schedule is. A restless night followed by a morning where you're unusually clear. You might even feel protective of your time, protective of your space, protective of your attention. You start noticing what pulls you off center. And that's not you becoming cold, that's you becoming precise. Chosen ones, I want you to catch this fully. God doesn't interrupt your timeline to entertain you. He interrupts it to position you. Because some of you have been one step away from making a decision that would have cost you a year. You were about to say yes out of politeness. You were about to settle out of tiredness. You were about to keep carrying something out of habit. You were about to keep showing up in a room that doesn't recognize what God put on you. And the interruption is mercy. So what do you do when you sense this 24-hour hinge? You don't panic, you don't rush, and you don't start bargaining with the past. You get unusually honest. You check what feels heavy for no reason. You check what feels urgent but isn't actually important. You check which conversations leave you clear and which ones leave you scattered. You pay attention to patterns, the same delay happening twice, the same message coming through two different people, the same topic resurfacing when you tried to bury it, and you move with clean obedience, not emotional impulse. Meaning, if you're being nudged to rest, you rest without guilt. If you're being nudged to speak, you speak without over-explaining. If you're being nudged to pause, you pause without trying to fill the gap with distractions. Because here's something to sit with. God is not about to change your life with one giant fantasy event. He's about to do it the way he often does, by interrupting your timeline with a moment that's small enough to ignore, but sacred enough to alter everything. And now here's what matters most: how you respond when that interruption shows up in ordinary clothes. Because the interruption rarely announces itself. It slips into the day the way a small stone ends up in your shoe. Nothing looks wrong from the outside, but every step starts feeling off until you stop and deal with it. That is how God gets your attention without humiliating you, without forcing you to crash. So when the hinge window is active, you don't need to hunt for signs all day. You need to notice what's already repeating, the same delay, the same uncomfortable topic circling back, the same inner hesitation when you try to move forward like nothing changed. Sometimes it's a tiny disruption that exposes a bigger truth. You send a message you normally would have followed up on 5 times. This time, you don't. And the silence in the thread tells you everything about the relationship dynamic. You start getting random reminders about a bill, a document, an appointment, like life is pulling your attention back to your own future instead of everyone else's demands. You get invited somewhere and your body refuses before your mind forms a sentence. Not fear, not anxiety, just a quiet no in your chest. Those are not mood swings. That's discernment sharpening. And you've learned what to do when it feels like that. The moment something interrupts your normal flow, you slow your hands down. Not your whole life, just your hands. So you pause before replying, pause before explaining, pause before fixing it. Because you understand that many people lose their position by reacting fast, not by making the wrong decision. You learn to ask yourself 3 questions, quick and honest without overthinking. What am I about to do out of habit? What am I about to do to avoid discomfort? What is the cleanest next step I can take without forcing anything? Then you do the clean step. 1 step, not 10. This is important. God's interruptions often come as simplification. Things get fewer, the noise reduces, your options narrow, the path looks almost too plain to be supernatural. But that's the point. When something is truly meant for you, it doesn't require you to beg your own spirit to cooperate. Chosen ones, there's a reason you've been less interested in explaining yourself lately. You're stepping out of performing clarity for people who don't protect your heart. God is showing you how to move without needing a witness. Imagine this: a skilled mason can tap a wall with the handle of a tool and hear what others can't. Most bricks sound solid. 1 brick sounds hollow. The wall still looks fine, but the mason knows that one hidden weak point will eventually cost the whole structure. So he removes 1 brick and replaces it, quietly, precisely, no drama. That's what this season is. God is tapping parts of your life, and you're hearing the hollow places, the friendship that is present but not supportive, the routine that looks stable but slowly drains you, the plan that sounds good out loud but feels wrong in private. Not every interruption is your assignment. Some interruptions are your exit sign, and you don't miss an exit sign because you were trying to be nice. So here is your posture for the next 24 hours. Stay calm, move slower than your emotion, answer with clarity, Choose what keeps your spirit intact. My dear friend, share this with someone who has been feeling off lately. Not because they need hype, because they need language. People make better decisions when they can finally name what's happening. Dear chosen one, you are not losing control of your life. You are being repositioned with precision. And when the moment comes, when the lever shifts, when the door closes, when the truth lands, when the next step becomes obvious, you won't need fireworks to recognize it. You'll recognize it because your spirit will finally stop arguing with your schedule. That's how you'll know. It's not dramatic, it's real, and it changes everything. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.